What is up, YouTube? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day, and if you are, you can go down and smash that like button because it truly does help out a small channel like mine and make my day a little bit better. Sometimes you find a company with so much growth potential that you yourself cannot even believe it. This company that I found just happens to find itself in the crosshairs of a lot of different growth sectors within the market. Not only is it in the drone space, it's also in the space. It's in the defense sector. I think it's going to benefit from 5G, and it might even be a provider to the 5G network. And it's also in cloud computing and AI. This company is into all the right things and is making all the right moves and is positioned perfectly to benefit from a lot of tailwinds. And I almost can't believe that I myself have found a company like this. I would love to say that in this video I do make some assumptions, and that's how I come to some of the conclusions that I come to in this video. And if you plan on investing, understand that it is risky. Now, normally I don't do a big disclaimer like that at the intro of a video. I normally just leave it in the description, but I really do want you guys to understand that this is a super risky stock. And my interpretation of why the stock is, or where the stock is going to go, is super far looking, and I do make a lot of assumptions, so I don't want anybody to get hurt based off my video, but I do want to get this information out there and see what your guys' opinions are on the stock, as well as if you guys think I'm completely off base on this, or if you think that this is something, this stock really does have the potential that I believe it does. Now, if you enjoy looking into growth companies, I've made a couple other growth company videos. I'll put them up here. And each one I kind of do in a very similar fashion as I'm going to do this video. So if you enjoy that kind of content and you want to see more of it in the future, make sure you go down and smash that subscribe button as well, so you get those videos as soon as they become available to the public. Now, with no further ado, let's get into the video. Welcome back, everybody. I'm not going to leave you on a cliffhanger and wait till the end to figure out what company I'm talking about in this video. I'm talking about Kratos, ticker symbol KTOS, or Ktos as I like to call it. Its current market cap is $2.4 billion, and I believe you're going to like a lot of the stuff I have to talk about when it comes to this company. Make sure you guys go in and do a deep dive on the financials. I personally didn't dive into the financials on this video because I believe it's going to be a pretty long video already, and I don't want to make it any longer, but I do want to talk about some of the reasons why I believe this company has such a great growth potential. One more thing to add, if you've never seen these type of videos before, I normally go over pros, cons, my opinions, or my kind of theories about the company. And then I do a breakdown of, if you invested $100 today and everything worked out, where could that money end up being at the end, and how much could you potentially make off this stock? Obviously, not everything goes to plan, but that is always a good thing to keep in mind, and kind of lets you assess how much risk you want to put into a position. So this company, in its most basic terms, is a defense company right now. So they work a lot with the DoD, the Air Force, and the Navy, and the Space Force, whenever the Space Force gets to that point where they're working with companies. Kratos has developed this network called C5ISR. Basically, it's a way for ground stations on the actual ground to communicate with ground individuals using planes, drones, and satellites. A couple pros is they're industry leading, in that shows from the amount of contracts that they've been winning as of lately when it comes to our Department of Defense here in the United States. The big thing that they're known for is their drones, or their UAVs, their unmanned aerial vehicles, and they have a couple different types, and I wanted to break those down so you guys had an understanding, since this is the main part of their company right now. Currently, they produce the Valkyrie and the Mako. The Mako is just basically a smaller version of the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie is a 30-foot aircraft. The Mako is a 20-foot aircraft, and they do a lot of the same stuff. And basically, when it comes to all these things, the Valkyrie is just gonna do it a little bit better or a little bit more. They can be controlled basically using some type of VR headset, and that's via their network that they have, the C5 ISR network, or they can be used as a wingman to a manned aircraft. So you can have one of their aircrafts take off and a manned aircraft take off, and then the person that's flying in the manned aircraft can control both the drone that is flying with it, the Kratos drone that is flying with it, and the actual aircraft that themselves are flying, which offers a new way to kind of engage with enemies if you were to ever get into an aerial dogfight, so to speak. The reason why the Air Force or the Navy or any of these Department of Defenses use these type of aircraft is because they have low cost, they can be stealth, they have long range, and they have high speeds, and they can basically do anything that a normal pilot can do, and they can do a little bit more because they don't have to worry about the G's and what the G's can do on a person's body. So that covers the Valkyrie and the Mako. This company also helps to produce Gremlins. The reason why this was a big thing for them to develop along with another defense company was because this was a way for the Air Force to use existing aircraft that they already have, mainly the C-130. The Gremlin is a swarm type drone. So basically what happens is you'll have the C-130 carry a whole bunch of these Gremlins on it. Whenever it gets close to what it wants to do, either be it surveillance or some type of an attack, the C-130 deploys all the Gremlins that it has. The Gremlins go and perform whatever kind of task they're supposed to perform, and then they can either return to the C-130 or they can go drop a bomb or whatever it may be that the Gremlins mission is. They also are producing the Airwolf or the Grey Wolf. Basically, this might be somewhere in between the Gremlins and the Valkyrie and the Mako. Swarm type bunch of missiles that are shot up in the air and controlled by an individual via VR or something like that. But I'm just speculating at this point. I do not 100% know. I know they're 6 feet in length, and I did see something about them being a low-cost cruise missile, but I don't know how true that is. I have found that when you're talking about a defense company like this, a lot of what they do is kind of hard to find because national security and stuff like that. So you're kind of speculating a lot when you're talking about a company like this. So because they're manufacturing all these swarm type drones, they obviously have to develop their own AI and things like that. There's got to be stuff that the aircraft can do on its own without another person telling it what to do. This company is an AI developer. They develop and manufacture jet engines as well. Those are the engines that they use for their Valkyrie and their Mako. And they have several engines that are currently still in development. On top of their drone business, they also have a satellite business. Obviously, when it comes to their network, they had to have a way to not only have satellites in space, but they also had to have a way to receive signals from those satellites in space. So they're basically an industry leader when it comes to those technologies as well. And they said on their most recent conference call that they are working with communication providers to increase the speed of communication around the world. On top of them wanting to be a space and satellite communication provider, they also have the potential to be a big player in the 5G satellite technology space. And if they are able to not only do the DoD side of things, the Department of Defense side of things, if they are also able to attain a bit of the commercial aspect of 5G satellite technology, that could potentially double or triple their addressable market overnight. I don't think a lot of people are taking that into consideration right now. Some things that they hit on in their conference call: affordability, affordability, affordability. They kept mentioning affordability. I think they want you guys to know that they are the affordable player in this space. And if you've ever worked with or been in the Department of Defense or any way, shape, or form, you know that affordability is a big deal, just because they want to spend the least amount of money and get the biggest return. So if Kratos is the actual most affordable in this space, then that gives them a big leg up. They actually raised guidance for the rest of the year and for next year. And then they talked a little bit about international growth, how that's something that they haven't really tapped into yet, but they are starting to see some international players on the world stage talking to them about what they can do for their country. And then the other thing that I thought was a really big deal was they are constantly lowering CapEx. The more they can lower CapEx, the bigger, the closer and closer we become to them becoming a profitable company. So now that we've gone over the pros, let's go over some of the cons. Cons, they have a very small team, so they could potentially overstretch their resources. You're going to have a lot of growing and manufacturing pains. If you ever invested in like Tesla before, you kind of went through that in 2017 and 2018. There's a ton of competition in this space. Everybody wants to get those Department of Defense contracts, so there's always going to be competition. But I do believe that Kratos is positioned well to win a lot of those contracts, and they seem to be doing a good job so far. And then the last con is there's a fear that they're going to be a jack of all trades, but a master of none. That would be a real shame if that happens, but it is a possibility. Now we get into some of the fun stuff, my opinions on the stock. Things like Space Force coming online, the addressable market for this company keeps expanding and keeps getting bigger and bigger. And this could be a real game-changing company in the future if a lot of these things go right for them. Talking about the future, is we're gonna need more 5G infrastructure, and you're gonna see more and more satellite companies. I feel like Kratos is positioned perfectly to be part of that next-gen infrastructure. My last smaller opinion is going to be that they could commercially license their technology or satellites to other companies to use for whatever purposes those companies want to use them for. And that's another growth driver. Here is the big surprise, the big theory that I have created in my own head. And again, this is not confirmed. I don't really know if this is what's happening. If it is something that's happening, this is a huge upside. This is the holy grail of all things holy in the stock market, and if you get in now, there's no way you don't win if this doesn't happen. I believe that SpaceX and Kratos are collabing on Starlink. This is not confirmed, but in Kratos's conference call, they said they were working with some non-DoD partners that were pretty big in this space. So that really leaves not too many other companies out there. It could be Boeing, it could be a lot of other companies, but when it comes to what Kratos has to offer when it comes to satellites in their satellite business, they also said that their satellite business was what they were most excited about. And you talk about a non-DoD company, Starlink, which is SpaceX's company, especially when you're talking about 5G, which is basically what Starlink is going to be doing. Is going to be offering 5G around the world. If this is true, then you are buying Starlink stock at an extreme discount, especially if everything with Starlink works out. One thing we know about Elon Musk is he loves to be vertically integrated. I'm a Elon Musk fanboy, so I've been watching what he's done with Tesla. I'm an investor in Tesla. This might be cognitive bias here. What if Elon Musk, instead of doing an IPO for SpaceX, were to do a reverse takeover of Kratos, which would basically take SpaceX public? We might need to get tinfoil hats on for this, because that's how crazy of an idea that would be. I didn't factor in this into my last part of this video. I didn't factor in any of this crazy long-term or crazy idea stuff into my long-term factor of this company. But if this were to happen, that my numbers are way undervalued. I truly think that if SpaceX were to do this, acquire this company, I could see SpaceX being another $1 trillion company. And I know people are throwing $1 trillion companies around like this or that nowadays. But I truly do believe that there is that much potential for growth between SpaceX, Starlink, and Kratos. Like, there's so much money to be made in space, and if they're able to not only be on the DoD side of space, but also on the commercial side of space, this is a way this was gonna be a big win for a company like this. With all that craziness out of the way, let's talk about what the potential is if you were to buy $100 worth of shares today. So the stock is currently a little bit under $20, and the market cap is about $2.4 billion. So I use those numbers, $20 and $2.4 billion. If you spent $100 today, you would buy 5 shares. Again, these numbers are without the whole SpaceX stuff that I was talking about. So I really do believe that the growth in this company is at least $500 billion company without the SpaceX stuff. If it were to hit that number, the stock price would be $4,166 per share. Times that by 5, you get $20,830, which would be a good gain from just investing $100 today. Obviously, investing is super risky, and that's a best case scenario. Everything works out. So I'm probably going a little crazy here, but if you guys have been following along on Instagram, I've been posting pictures of my gains and losses and stuff on Instagram. And I haven't really made a video about this company, but I've owned it for about 2 weeks now. And I really wanted to get as much information as I could and present this company as best I could, because I do have such a crazy idea about its future that I wanted to make sure I had as much details that I possibly could in the company. If you guys want me to go do a video on the actual fundamentals of this company, I would be more than willing to do that. I just wanted to go over my thoughts on the company and why I'm invested. Again, if you like these type of videos, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I hope you guys are having a great day. Love you guys. Peace.